How about $3 trillion? That is a lot of money. And joining us now to talk more about this is Congressman Pete Stauber from Minnesota. Congressman, great to see you.
Great to be with you this afternoon, John. And you know, you talk about the spending package. It's really $3 trillion. It's unbelievable. It's going to be a partisan package. The $2 trillion was partisan, and really, we know it's a Trojan horse for tax increases. The American people, our kids and grandchildren, are going to be paying for this, and we need a pay-for mechanism. And you know, being on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, we want bipartisan bills. We know our roads and bridges need to be developed. We know we have to increase the development of rural broadband, and we can do that in a very bipartisan way. And you'd think that infrastructure should be the most bipartisan, piece of legislation to come out of the government. But it appears at this point that it's going to be the AOC, a Green New Deal, and we're going to pay for it by tax increases.
Yeah, they also have things in there for like a whole new network of electric car charging stations. I don't know who's going to pay to actually, get the energy into those charging stations there. But the only thing I could think of, and you saw the graphic there, was this comes from a land of pure imagination. Democrats, you kind of got to give them credit for throwing this number out there, $3 trillion. We're into the trillions now, so 3 doesn't sound like a lot, but that is so much money.
John, it is a lot of money. But let's talk about the ability to mine these critical minerals that we're going to use in these electric vehicles. In northern Minnesota, on the Iron Range, we have a copper nickel find called the Duluth Complex, the biggest copper nickel find in North America. We can do it with the best labor standards, best environmental standards, and this administration continuously puts up roadblocks to have our men and women mining these critical minerals. We have an opportunity here to help with our supply chain dependency, and Minnesota and Minnesota miners are ready and able to perform these mining initiatives.
No, it's so important you mention that, because if you really want to do something, we just talked about John Kerry meeting with China, but if you really want to do something for the environment, the way that these minerals are mined here is so much more environmentally friendly than the way it's done over in China. And we can really, this is important. This is part of our future here. Those minerals are key, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk about that. The other thing we wanted to talk about while we had you here is this Derek Chauvin jury selection happening right now. Opening statements are set to start next week, but I know the House has already approved the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which introduces sweeping police reforms. It bans chokeholds. Really, it is a federalization of the defund the police movement here. But you also have your own bill called the Justice Act, and you say it would do a lot more for communities than the Democrats' plan. Explain to us why.
John, I'm confident. I spent 23 years as a police officer. I helped write this bill with Senator Tim Scott. My perspective as a police officer in northern Minnesota, Senator Scott, from growing up as a black man in South Carolina. How can we bring the police and the communities together? The Justice Act that Senator Scott and I wrote is transparent. There's accountability and performance measures in there. This is what our communities are asking for. And quite frankly, many items in this bill should have been done a long time ago. We talk about increasing the body camera usage. I don't understand why in this 21st century, why police departments across the nation aren't using body cameras. The Justice Act allows monies to be available for the purchase of body cams and the data storage, which is the most expensive part of the body cams. The Justice Act has duty to intervene and the best practices for hiring. Our Justice Act implements community policing, and when you put forth community policing, the philosophy is you don't police your community, you police with your community. You bring you build great relations and trust, and the Justice Act does that. The Justice Act that we wrote is bipartisan and transparent. Unfortunately, the George Floyd and Policing Act is partisan. Not one Republican voted for it, John, and not one law enforcement organization.
Congressman, that's part of their plan, is to make a bill that's so ridiculous that no Republicans will vote for it, so they can say, look, Republicans don't support this effort. We're going it alone. That's part of their plan here. And quick question, and this is kind of a joke here, but did you get Senator Scott out on the ice at all when you guys were working on this bill together? I know you're a former professional hockey player. I would love to see you coach up Senator Scott out there on the ice.
First off, I want to go. The Democrats' policing bill is a backhanded way to defund, and I can tell you, Senator Scott is one of the finest human beings that I have ever met, and we are lucky to have him serving in the U.S. Senate. I can tell you that much.
All right. Well, you didn't answer my questions about getting him out there on the ice. We'll have to look forward to that. But no, your point is well taken, and I don't mean to be too flippant about this, but we appreciate your efforts and your time. Congressman Stauber, thank you so much.